Hello everyone, Kirby1 here. Welcome back, and we're in Twin Plains. A lot has gone on this turn, very big developments, and we'll start where we left off last video with the attack on Flegra. We won't skip around the bush there, and then we'll follow up with what is arguably the even more important battle in Nazca. And we'll see how that went. Thankfully for me, there was really not a whole lot to deal with. So just a bunch of PD, which is easily cleared by a massive stack. We lost 2 Sacreds, and that's probably just because they were front-loaded and they just ate a bunch of Archer Fire. So then in Nazca, if you recall, there was a Indie Barbarian attack, which, as we know, in Dominion 6 now roams around, and so it roamed around to Nazca, which is much less of a problem for the Nazca player than it is for the Flegra player. But because Flegra is Flegra, and they had quite a large stack on top of the fort, it wasn't a big problem for them either. These barbarians are easily cleared by this, and they do barely any damage before running away. Just a couple of Helot warriors. And then Nazca themselves sally forth with probably their entire army right here. Most of it is Hatun Runa slaves. They have the Sacreds that they've been recruiting, which are Condor Warriors. Not the other, I believe it is Sun Warriors, but we can look that up later. They have quite a few Koya, actually. It looks like 4 Koya and 2 Incas. And I think they had a couple more Incas somewhere. So they looks like they've been alternating back and forth between those two. And then they also have a couple of their Aklas. And that is their prophet, who they suicided as an Apu and profited. And then the Dracolich. And this is a lot of stuff, but most of it is kind of garbage, especially against Gigantes. Hatun Runa are going to do jack against Gigantes, but the Helots will be able to get cleared out. The Gigantes might be able to kill the Dracolich here. Let's slow it down a bit. Oh yeah, and there's also a bunch of Supaya as well. And as a reminder, their Bless is Undying and Mending Bones. So this is going to be basically the Pretender and Supaya exclusive, because while the Undying does help the Condor Warriors and Condors if they felt like making them, it isn't going to do much with the Mending Bones. Now we see a couple of small air elementals coming out. That was what all these air gems were for. And I think the Koya, no, they don't have air, so they must have just been doing a couple of buffs. The Hatun Runa are actually just walking forward, so they must have been scripted to do that. But yeah, for the most part, the Gigante warriors are not going to care much about chaff Nazcan troops. And so they get picked off pretty quickly, but there were a couple in the back that have been separated from the main group, so splitting them up this way has been pretty beneficial to Nazca. And I think 4 is going to be quite enough for the Pretender to take, and because of his Fear Aura, is making the ones that it didn't go berserk run away. I think we've actually already got an HP route, it looks like, from the Flegra player. So the Helots are running. And the only ones that are going to stick around are the ones that are berserk and the ones that get surrounded here. But yeah, it is a clear win for the Nazca player, which is a huge huge development for Flegra, because with me on their cap and then losing one of their two very, very main forces here, they lost 14 Gigantes, warriors, and a bunch of their helots. And as we recall from the situation that I've put them in, they have no forts left that are not under siege. In fact, this one is cracked and we are going to be storming it. He just popped out with a commander to ping it. So that's the situation for the Flegra player. Very, very bad for him. Let's, before we decide to go over what I'm doing, follow up on any of the other reports that we had. Chamber underneath, that was my ill-advised attempt to take on Bakemono Sho and Ko-Oni with a bunch of random crap, and yeah, it's not going to end well. He also does have one lone skelly spammer back here, a shaman, and these guys get poked to death very, very poorly. Very poor showing for them. And so yeah, don't underestimate Bakemono Sho. As far as other things go, we vastly overkill 3 Woodhenge Druids just to send a message to those rascally indies. And Ind is actually taking a throne here, which I could have probably cleared this out myself as well. Just got 4 wizards and a bunch of barbarians. This would have been doable if I had gathered up a main force to go push for it, but I decided to go on Flegra instead. So he took quite a few casualties, probably mostly from the barbarians, but wizards are going to be able to spam elementals and stuff like that as well. So yeah, but he got another throne, or that looks like his first throne. Yeah, so he got his first throne here and has cleared this area. Pretty small for all things considered in this game. And then, what else? Back to messages. Agartha, down here in the caves, is clearing out. That must have been, yeah, that was just an event. So he's bumping back. He decided not to go this way. I think his army went here and then back. So this should still be Indies right here, which is promising for me. I might be able to take it without contesting him overly much for it, which is good. I do want to get some caves and establish some sort of presence down here. And so we'll be fortifying this with growing a fort and holding that line down there if the underwater players don't want to contest me over it. And then just covering everything else, we've got the Lord Dump. Oh no, this is just oh sorry, yeah, this is so we haven't gotten In's special guy yet. We've gotten a nap proposal from, not that one, we got a nap proposal from Ind, and so I'm okay with it. I decide to respond in the positive, and that allows me to pretty much ignore him while I do whatever I want here. I'm already starting to eyeball the Nazca and Flegra situation as very positive for me. I've got a lockdown on Flegra, which I can take advantage of pretty quickly and probably take basically everything uncontested. Should be a piece of cake to just move north and also move south and gobble whatever is left of Nazca's territory as well. In addition to that, we have claimed the Throne of Bureaucracy, so we're going to get a little bit of extra order and free PD everywhere. And as far as events go, unrest, more wolves, lots and lots of money from the Fever Fens, which is poor, so not a lot of money. And some gold and pearls, which is great. And so there you go. Yeah, there's just dogs everywhere. Craziness. Anywho, we're going to be storming Jinport this turn. I don't expect there to be that much in here because it's only a palisade, so he wouldn't have even had a lot of time to recruit mages and stuff like that. Unfortunately, because it is a palisade, it will remain a palisade because I can't upgrade for its past palisade level. Aside from that, what I'm actually doing this turn, knowing that it is a giant castle with 1,500 wall integrity, which would take me 3 turns to siege this down, I'm instead going to skip a turn or 2 of that and leave just one dude here and spread out. Take everything that he is not able to contest and get myself a little bit of extra income, maybe some extra gems, and lock down his land even more for me. He's already started to lose this. So basically all of this is just free real estate, baby. And then we're going to be sending a bunch more troops to follow up and consolidate, and then we'll come after taking all of his cap circle and jump right back onto his cap with everything again, and maybe from here as well with all of these guys, and we'll then just sit there and wait until his walls are cracked and see where we go from there. Now, as far as the assault goes, we're putting the mercs right in front and having them straight up attack rear, and that is what mercs do. They get merked, and then we're going to get our black centaurs to follow in afterward after they get blessed a little bit. We only have a couple of Sagittarians to be doing fire and getting us some more carcasses, and just the regular chaff to fill in the gaps. So that's the plan there. Aside from that, our massive group from Asphodel is going to come over here and then probably wrap up north in this direction and eat all this. I don't want to maybe bump Nazca quite yet over it. I mean, I guess bumping wouldn't be that big of an issue, but I don't want to play my hand too early as far as deciding whether or not to attack him. So I'm just going to go slowly and build up a force here, and then here, and move in this general direction and see what I can take. And aside from that, I think that's probably it. Developments in the cave layer we have seen. And yeah, so all of Flegra's income is pretty much gone because all his forts are on lockdown. But this could be another major battle if Nazca decides to fly out and contest this here. Try and knock him off there. So we'll see how that goes in the next turn, which we will do right now. So here we are, turn 18, and going top to bottom. We've got the Prester King is claiming the throne of misfortune, which is more pearls for them, but we'll see how that misfortune scales go. I don't think I'm going to be very happy with that. Stop it. Stop it. I don't think I'm going to be very happy with that if that starts giving me events everywhere in addition to all the other crap that we've been having to deal with. Speaking of which, another assassination attempt. Luckily, carrion commanders are pretty tanky. In any event, hopefully those dogs stop bothering me pretty soon. Let's see how the battles go in his cap circle. And by his, I mean Flegra's. So we clear that, no problem. Couple of mannequin losses there. He's trying to do PD dumps somewhere in some places, but PD is gonna PD. As you can see, black minotaurs are just gonna walk all over that. They do not care. Yeah, human-sized troops are not gonna put up much of a fight against black minotaurs. Maybe if there had been knights in this province, it might have done something. Heavy cav there, and yep, so that clears that out. As far as Nazca's decision, he does not contest him on the fort, and so Flegra does take that pretty losslessly, pretty painlessly. So he has one fort now. And then as far as my storming of his fort, he doesn't have a whole lot in here as well. A couple of priests apparently, and some Gigante warriors, and then the defenders, the wall defenders. Those guys are gonna, the hurlers are going to be doing quite a bit of pain on the guys down below, especially once we get locked up in here. Yeah, that's one black centaur gone. So we needed to clear this as quickly as possible, which we do okay, but we do take some losses here. Let's see. Yeah, so 4 black centaurs out of our 10 are killed, and almost half of the war shamblers, and that's basically just all from these Cyclops hurlers right here, dropping rocks on us. We already have another attack on Asphodel. More black dogs, so not anything too painful. But still, that we'll be very, very happy when that goes away. Black dogs everywhere. We are site searching now, and nothing in the Throne Province, unfortunately, quite yet. So yeah, consolidation continues. He has apparently moved his army, Flegra has apparently moved his army south toward me. So that's, you know, fair. Can't blame him for that. So I am throwing everything into this province, and I'm deciding not to split. He has 80, it says 80 here, and 4 Gigante warriors. That's not too much, but I don't want to split it. I don't want to split my group too heavily. So if I were to send, I think, these guys here, that probably would not have been enough, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe if I'd had the centaurs on attack rear, if I'd done like a PD dump, but I don't think it's worth it. I think I will just see where he goes, patrol here, and then if he goes here, then he gets caught. But if he goes here, we'll catch him later. And I'm not too worried about it. So Nazca decided to go down here and may then continue down south in this general direction. As a reminder to people, when indies from a barbarian or other kind of like troglodyte or whatever event happen, this province is completely empty. You can take it with a scout, and there is not going to be any battle there because there's nothing there. The entire group moved to attack Nazca last turn, and so that province is completely empty, and so the Nazca player could have taken that. I am not taking it just so I don't antagonize them, and it's not connected to me anyways, so I'll hold off and wait on that. But I can see how Nazca's been having a little bit of an issue. Barbarians over here, and there were barbarians over here, so his cap circle has been probably pretty rough for him to clear out. But he's still made a pretty wide expansion, so that's alright. Except for the Flegran War, he's been doing okay. And so now Flegra has taken this province, and I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to send a small group down this way to take that, and I'm going to send a small group down this way to take that, and continue this way to take that. Now what's interesting is I decided to do that by sending sacreds to each of these locations, and that these are all places that could have gone here instead. So I am not expecting Flegra to break out this turn. I'm just gonna sit there, and I'm assuming he's just going to wait inside until I get in there and then fight a big old fort battle, pretty much what I had to do over here as well. So that's why I did what I did, and everybody else is going to these locations instead of there. But what we are sending is still a pretty formidable force. a bunch of centaurs in the front just to maybe hit some Helot warriors and mess them up. We've got a lot of archers. We've got a lot of Sagittarians. Only a few Carrion Furies, and so I want to save them, so I've got them on bodyguard duty, and I'm not sending them into the fight so they don't get picked off and die. These two groups are from different locations, which is why they're not consolidated. And we have a large group. So far, I haven't decided to split my important, so to speak, Carrions into any sort of noticeable formation, so I'm just blobbing them into lines and just leaving them the way they are. And we've got the Black Minotaurs on hold and attack rear so that they can sweep around and maybe hit any mages if he has them, just in case he does decide to break siege. But I don't expect that he has basically anything in this area. I don't think he has very much left right now other than this group and this group. So aside from that, what else am I doing? I am just consolidating movement, picking up free spawn chaff. And as far as recruitment goes, I'm making exclusively Dryad Hags when I have the gold for them. And in my cap, I'm making full use of my sacred points for troops and making panic apostates. And then here I'm just making commanders for movement. That's basically what I use the Hierophants for. And then here we're building a lab, and then next turn we will temple and cast Grow Fort. We've already got enough for 2 of them. And then on the ocean layer, yeah, we don't really see a whole lot yet still. There's a throne down there. Water thrones are going to be a pain to take from the water nations, but we've got a lot of amphibious chaff, so there is that at least. We see a fort under construction here, and there's already a temple there. So I am going to go over here to see at what point, if any of the other major powers decide to vulture Flegra. I think it looks pretty clear, to me at least, that Flegra is dead, but not everyone is going to have as efficient scouting as I do with flying black harpies and everything like that. So that's where we are there. And I think that's all. See if I can get any mercs. No, just the shipwreckers. There's only the one dude left. The rest actually retreated. So the ones that were killed, these survived, but because they took such heavy casualties in the assault, they are pretty much down and out for the count. So should have probably just had this guy on attack so I could maybe pick up the sword of sharpness for free, but oh well, I did not. Yeah, I think I left him there so he can build a temple if I felt like it next turn. Alright, so we're doing the rambling thing. Let's move on to turn 19. Yep, 19, and then we will call it there. Here we are, turn 19, and there is a battle in Flegra. And I'm not going to open it because it is not a ping. It is a big old battle. Well, big, but there is the drakon. So the report out of Agartha was indeed correct. I think I recall from last turn that there were 3 priests in his other fort when I stormed it. This is probably why. So what likely happened, and I didn't see it for all of my Black Harpy scouting, what likely happened is he went down into the caves and got yeeted by something, because cave indies are occasionally quite terrifying for expander pretenders, and so he's been calling him back ever since, and he arrived last turn, which I would not have seen because I had put his cap under siege and was sitting on it. And so now he is back, and he is going to try and bonk me off, but I did consolidate with my force here, and so we're going to give him a run for his money. So first my centaurs come in and lance charge him. They do a tiny bit. Oh no, he has regen. So he did cast personal regen, so he's got the tech for that at least. You'll notice that the archers are actually running backwards, so they are on fire and keep distance. The centaurs are not going to be able to finish the drakon all by themselves, and he starts breathing a bunch of gas. Now, interestingly enough, Gigante warriors have built-in poison resistance, so this is a pretty good matchup for him to have them in the mix. It's not 100% poison resistance, but it'll help a little bit. We've got a lot of carrion bows lying in there, and the black minotaurs have moved up and are going to stomp all over these humans. I do not have poison resistance, so these guys are walking into poison clouds and are not happy with it. So that's going to be a bummer. The Gigantes are all bunched up in a circle here, and we're starting to put entanglement on them and carrion dark seed infection on a few of them. And now we're getting in there with our black minotaurs, which they do have undying, but they're still going to be in a lot of pain. But that's what these guys are for. Glass cannons to blow big boys up, and there's 2 of them gone. And we've actually got a carrion behemoth in the back here, smacking this drakon around. Now, the benefit of playing Asphodel, of course, is that you're going to have a lot of sleep vines, and the sleep vines are going to put this guy to sleep permanently. So that'll help with the poison for a little bit at least. But he's still got plus 19 regen, and he's got 26 protection. He didn't get off Temper Flesh, so that's pretty significant. But he's going to be asleep pretty soon. If not now, then pretty soon for the rest of the game. Now, what you're also seeing is a lot of Carrion Titans showing up. Now, Carrion Titans I'm getting because these guys, size 8+, anything that size 8+ that gets hit with the Carrion Seed and the Dark Seed Infection are going to turn into these guys. Funny enough, they're still berserking, but because this chassis doesn't have any benefits from berserk, it's just kind of irrelevant. Yeah, so there's no effect on their anything. Although, because the Titans are actually not mindless, which I went over in my national overview, they are potentially able to rout, but they are not likely to. So yeah, I think the Drakon is permanently asleep right now, and we've surrounded him with actually 2 black minotaurs, big old 40 damage axes. We've got another minotaur here, and a big bear for more damage, and then the Carrion Titans for even more damage. So we're probably going to be able to take this guy down, and indeed we're doing 20s. Yep, a lot of damage here. He's down to 40 hit points. Oop. Yeah, so he's only recovering 19 a turn. That's not going to be enough, and he dies. And that's everybody. So 1 awake Expander Pretender down, and at least 1 more to go if we get there. Other than that, clearing some PD, and he makes a push on us and clears PD, and that's Flegra, and we clear some more PD and some more. So we have eliminated 1 extremely major obstacle, and then we lose a Harpy because I didn't have her scripted to retreat like a dummy. 1 major obstacle has been eliminated. Our siege strength is unfortunately down to 430, so that's going to be at least 3 more turns of sieging this before we can get it cracked. But once we do, I don't think there's going to be pretty much anything there. Part of the reason was that when we fought him, we actually got some of our archers to run out of ammunition, and they ran in as close as they could get. When they got too close, they ran into the fear aura and ran away, even though I won the battle. So there's a bunch of Sagittarians and archers scattered around in all of the surrounding provinces, and I have to go pick them up, which I am doing. So I'm going to sit on this fort, consolidate, pick up my stragglers and go back and yeah, we will just finish that right up. And then aside from that, I'm making a little itty bitty push right here to see how we can test the waters with Nazca. And then even more inflammatory, we're going in on this throne, which technically was Nazca's throne. But as you can see, Flegra did a little bit of a petty move by demolishing this fort that he took there. So Nazca's not going to get it, I'm not going to get it, and Flegra's not going to have any income, and he's just going to send his groups to raid around literally at random, because this used to be an Ind province, and he and Ind were not at war. So he's just going wherever the heck he feels like. I expect he's going to feel like going here next turn, and so because of that, I'm laying a bit of a trap for him, and we will catch him there. We actually did get his this Bishop General, so I think I either missed that or it's in an older video and I forgot that I said that, so oops, oh well. There's the Flegran group again, and we're just gonna chase him down, and he's probably not gonna stay there. He's probably not gonna move here, so we're probably not gonna bump there. I am sending a smaller group this way. I guess I decide that I'm capable of killing this after all with this amount of stuff. And if he goes here, then oh well, I'm evacuating with my one mannequin there. And then, yeah, so there's that. So that's the turn for battles. As far as things I didn't see, we see Agartha has finally claimed his second province in the Whirlpool here. And yep, still hasn't moved here, so I should be able to take these two provinces at some point. And like I said, Carrion Fort and Temple this turn. And yeah, so we did see Oceania here last turn, so that's 3 of the 5 underwater nations have made it to the middle layer. And yeah, looks like Ind might be deciding to make an attempt as well, but I'm gonna put my bet in the Shark Tribe Tritons here over a bunch of Shamblers. Shark Tribe are the Bakemono show of the sea, if you will. And as far as recruitment goes, we're still mixing and matching. As you can see, I'm not able to max out on Black Centaur recruitment. So because of that, if I were to try and get 2 Black Minotaurs, I still can't max out my holy points. So the way to max out my holy points is like so. I could just max it out with Black Minotaurs, but they are much more expensive in gold, and I do actually want as many Black Centaurs as I say as many, but I still do want to be focusing still on Black Centaurs, because they are, in my opinion, the stronger of the two, but Black Minotaurs have a very, very important niche role, as we just saw, in smacking big things to death. Yep, and so I think this group is going to go here and then down here, and then we will go with this group here and then down here. And so, yeah, kind of ignoring the oceans for a little bit, even though we could take them. And then, yeah, so that's the turn. As far as research goes, we are going to be getting Enchantment 4 next turn. So we have, who was it? We have the one guy who has a Lycanthrope's Amulet, who we do want to be getting Twiceborn. And I think my plan is we're going to Twiceborn him, and then we're going to send him underwater. So that's why I've got Construction 3 researched right afterward, because that will allow me to Twiceborn him next turn, and then from here send him to die against the Shark Tribe. And then we will finally be rid of that Lycanthrope's Amulet. And yeah, so that's all that I've got for this turn, and we'll be moving on to the next turn in the next video. Thank you all for watching.